Hello students, this is Aileen Sonia, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of E&I from RMD Engineering College. The topic that I am going to take is on mesh analysis. So, before seeing how to solve mesh analysis, first we will see what is a mesh. A mesh is a loop that does not contain any other loops. For example, in the circuit we can see that, so here A, B, E, F, A, that is a mesh. B, C, D, E, B, this is a second mesh. So here there are two meshes, but if you see the number of loops, there are three. That is A, B, E, F, A, that is one loop, and the second loop will be B, C, D, E, B, that is the second loop, and the third loop will be the outer branch, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, A. We will not be considering R2. So that will be the third loop. The third loop is not considered as a mesh. So that's what they have mentioned here. A mesh is a loop that does not contain any other loops. So to analyze by this method, we will be applying KVL to find the unknown currents. So KVL is nothing but Kirchhoff's voltage law. So this analysis method is applicable only to planar circuit. A circuit that can be drawn on a plane with no branches crossing each other. That is, so here you can see in this figure, in this second circuit, the branches are crossing each other. So this is a non-planar circuit, and for this mesh analysis cannot be done. Only for this first circuit, mesh analysis can be done. And the current through a mesh is known as the mesh current. Now, before solving the problem, we will see what are the steps to solve mesh analysis. So, first when a problem is given, we have to see how many number of meshes are there. That is, identify the meshes. Second step, we have to assign the mesh current. So, if there are three meshes, you will have I1, I2, I3. We have to assume the direction. So here we will always follow clockwise direction. If in a given problem, if they have not assigned direction, means always we will be assuming clockwise direction uniformly for all the, suppose if there are three meshes, we will be assuming clockwise direction for all the three meshes unless other specified in the given problem. Third step is to assign polarity. So based on the direction, we will start assigning polarity. So here the starting end of the resistor will be positive, and the negative end, that is other end of the resistor, I will be assigning negative polarity. In the second figure, I can see that the current is traveling in the anti-clockwise direction. So the starting end is this side. So here I will assign positive polarity, and after crossing this, the other end, I will be assigning negative polarity. Fourth step. So here in this fourth step, I will be naming the branch that is shared by two currents. So for the branches sharing currents, start naming them from first mesh 1. Then use the same current branch notation for both meshes. This is the one method of naming. The other method I will be saying at the last. So here by this method, so I will start with the first mesh and I will start assigning polarity. So here for this R3, I have mentioned here positive and negative here. And I will give a branch current name. So here with respect to R3, if I see the current direction, see individually if I see means it is flowing in what direction? Clockwise direction. With respect to R3, if I see, both the directions are in opposite. So the current flowing in the R3 branch will be I1 minus I2. So when I will be proceeding from the first mesh. So when I'm proceeding with the first mesh, so I have named it. Here I have assigned the polarity and I have named the branch current. So when I'm applying for the KVL for the second mesh, I will not again assign polarity and again give a branch current. Okay, so this is one method of proceeding with the KVL equation. When you fix it from the first, keep it as such. No need to change when you are when you are applying KVL equation for mesh 2. So in the previous figure, I said both the direction are in opposite. So I have mentioned as I1 minus I2. Suppose in a given problem, one direction they have assumed as anti-clockwise, means with respect to R3, if I see both will be in the same direction. So it will be the addition of both the currents, that is I1 plus I2. So after assigning all the currents, so here the fifth step will be I will be applying KVL for each mesh, and the resulting equation I will solve by using Cramer's rule, or from the three equations obtained you can use the calculator. In the equation mode you can solve, or in the matrix mode of the calculator you can find the determinants. You can cross check the answer by solving Cramer's rule by yourself. So the given problem is analyze the circuit using mesh analysis and find unknown currents. So they have given this circuit. Now what we have to find, they have given us unknown current. So in the given problem, if you see, they have not assigned direction. So first, what is the first step? You have to identify the number of meshes. Now how many meshes are there? So this is one mesh, this is second mesh, and this will be third mesh. So I will start assigning mesh current with the consistent direction. That will be your step 2. So step 2 is what? I will assign I1, I2, I3 with the consistent direction, that is clockwise direction. Now step 3 will be assigning polarities for the resistance based on the direction. So I'll start with I1. So here from this direction I have started. So for this 4 ohms I have given here positive, negative, then I'm entering this 7 ohms, here positive, then the other end negative. Now I am going to second mesh. So here which resistance is left out? Only this resistance. So you see this direction, so it is starting in this end. So here I have assumed positive, the other end I have assumed negative. Then coming to third mesh, in the third mesh already polarity is been assigned for these two resistors. So the other resistor which is left out is 12. So with proceeding with this direction, the starting end is this side. So I have assumed here positive polarity, and the other end I have assigned negative polarity. So step 4 is what? We have to assign the branch current. So with the starting, I will proceed with the branch I1. So I1, if I consider, yeah, I will see, I am seeing that this 4 ohms is shared by 1 and 3. Now if I consider the direction of 1 and 3, here both are in opposite direction. So it is the difference between both I1 minus I3. Next, 7 ohms is shared by I1 and I2. So both are in the opposite direction, it is I1 minus I2. Next, this 4 ohm is being shared by 2 and 3. So proceeding from 1, 2 and 3, I am naming it. So since here 4 ohms is shared by 2 and 3, it is a difference between I2 and I3. So After naming them, I will not change the branch current when I am considering the other mesh. So next step is what? We will write the Kirchhoff's voltage law for each mesh. So this is the first mesh. So the first mesh here, 480 volt, 4 ohms, 7 ohms. So I have drawn it separately. So this is it. So always remember here negative polarity to positive polarity will be plus, and positive to negative polarity, that is the voltage drop, will be minus. Okay, so here clockwise direction, so I'll start from this voltage source. So here it is flowing from negative to positive polarity, so it is plus 480. Then it is entering here positive to negative polarity, so minus 4 into current is I1 minus I3. So this is the product of current into resistance. So current into resistance, IR is what? Voltage. So you can see all these terms are in terms of voltage. So here entering here, so plus it, and leaving at minus, so it is minus 7 into I1 minus I2 equal to 0. So step by step, if I solve 480 minus 4i1, minus to minus is plus, so plus 4i3 minus 7i1 plus 7i2. So step by step solving, finally I will be getting this equation, 11i1 minus 7i2 minus 4i3 equal to 480. This is the second mesh now. So we are applying KVL to mesh 2. So mesh 2 I have drawn it separately. So since clockwise direction, I will start from here. So here it is minus 4 into I2 minus I3. Positive to negative polarity it is flowing. So it is minus 600. Then proceeding here, it is entering from negative polarity. So it is plus 7 I1 minus I2 equal to 0. So step by step, if I solve, minus 4I2 minus into minus plus, so plus 4I3 minus 600 plus 7I1 minus 7I2, then I group it in terms of I1, I2 and I3, I will get this final equation. Solving 7I1 minus 11I2 plus 4I3 equal to 600. This will be the second equation. Third equation, that is solving from the mesh 3, that will be minus 12 into I3, and entering here it will be, so it is entering what? Negative. Negative to positive is positive. So plus 4 into I2 minus I3. Then here it is entering plus 4 into I1 minus I3. So solving step by step and grouping in terms of I1, I2 and I3, I will be getting this equation. Either you can take 4I1 plus 4I2 minus 20I3, or simplify it further and you can write it as I1 plus I2 minus 5I3 equal to 0. This will be the third equation. So if the marks are less, it is just for 8 marks. Means from these 3 equations you can solve in the calculator in equation mode and get the answer for I1, I2, I3. Else we can solve by Cramer's rule if it is more than 8 marks. Now I had named the branch current, right? So I said there is another method. So what is the another method is, for each mesh you will be assigning the polarity and the you will be naming for the branch current. That is the resistor which is sharing 2 currents. Now for that each mesh I will be naming it. So this is another method. So here I1 minus I3. So when I am considering third mesh, I have taken it as I3 minus I1. Likewise, I have assigned polarity again the third mesh. So here if you see, I have assigned polarity for I1 also, and also when I am assuming this I2, when I am solving for this second mesh, I will be assigning polarity again and the branch current again. So this is another method of solving, but the final equation will be the same as the previous method that we have seen. Okay, so the previous method, what was it? We will assign the polarity for the branch that is sharing two currents and fix it. Right, again we will not assign the polarity or the branch current name when we are considering the other mesh. We will proceed with the 1, 2 and 3, third mesh. So here in this method, for each mesh you will be assigning again. So this is the second method. If you go by this method, you will get the answer, same answer only. So you can try and see that both the methods you will get the same answer. Now applying Cramer's rule. So Cramer's rule, so here the first equation 11i1 minus 7i2 minus 4i3. So this coefficients I have written here. This is the first equation and this right side will be your voltage term of the first equation. So R into I equal to V. So this second row is your second equation, third row is your third equation. So first we will obtain delta value. These values alone I have taken. So 11 into cross multiply. So 11 into minus is plus. So we have 220 minus 60. Then plus 7 into 7 into minus 20 minus 16 cross multiply. Next minus 4 into 28 plus 44. You will get 216. So for delta 1, first column you will be replacing with the constant terms, that is the voltage term, and you will get the answer as 1080. And I1 will be delta 1 divided by delta. So it will be 5 ampere. Delta 2 means second column will be replaced by the constant term. You will be getting the answer minus 11,880. So I2 value is obtained as minus 55 ampere. Now if you get negative sign, negative polarity, here is nothing but the direction what we have assumed is negative. So here delta 3 means third column we will be replacing with a constant term. So the answer we have got is 2160. So I3 will be delta 3 by delta. So it is 10 ampere. So solving all these three equations, finally 5 ampere minus 55 ampere and 10 ampere. So the question was to find the unknown currents. So all the three currents we have to find out. So by applying KVL for each mesh, we had obtained three equations, and by Cramer's rule, we have got the value for the unknown currents. Thank you all.